good evening to all our viewers, national and international, but especially Bangladesh. Welcome to tonight, our fourth episode of our show, Let's Talk About Change. So, my name is Isabel Lanza, and I will be your host for tonight. I just want to tell you a little about me. I am 22 years old. I am from Bumapan, or the beautiful garden city of Bumapan, and I'm a recent graduate from the University of Belize. And actually, this will be my first time voting in the general elections. So that's an interesting fact about me. I just want to go ahead and welcome Miss Anna Banagai. Thank you so much for having me here tonight.
Thank you, Isabel, and thank you for embracing this opportunity. One of my platform that I have been campaigning on is really serving and empowering young people, and so this is a great opportunity for me as well to show that I am in fact pro not just youth but pro Bamapan and pro people. Isabel, this has been a rough week for myself and my family. And I like to just to use this opportunity to say condolences to the Wade and Guy families because we have lost a very significant part of our family. My husband, older brother, he is affectionately known as Tony, Anthony Lloyd Wade, who is a market vendor and a very popular person here in Belmopan. We lost him over the past week, and we're planning to do his burial this coming weekend. So our family is really in that state of mourning, and I like to say condolences to our family and also to let the remainder of Belmopan and especially the other market vendors because I know with COVID-19 and all that has been happening, severe displacement, and on top of the displacement, dysfunction as it relates to the market in Belmopan, and so that really disconnects the vendors who were closely knitted community for years. And my brother-in-law is a part of that community, and he was very passionate about the work that he was doing over the years as a vendor at the Belmopan Market. And I just like to start off by saying that we really, our family is saddened by his passing, and we know that we won't be the only ones affected by that.
Yes, Miss Anna, condolences to you and your family. I hope the Lord will grace you through this time.
But Isabel, I'm not hearing you from over this side on Bermuda Street where I am, and I know you're across Belmopan. And we want to take this opportunity to say a big thank you to our producer, Mr. David Smith, who's always doing such a wonderful job and giving us the opportunity to connect, even though we are not next door or in the same room. So, David, thank you for this opportunity. But please know that we're not hearing Isabel too well. At least I'm not. I'm hoping our viewers are, though.
Yes, I hope everyone can hear me. I'm not sure
It's
how
better
I
now.
can know,
David
but
did something.
it's better. Oh, wonderful. I was just extending my condolences to you and your family and really praying that the Lord will be able to supply you and grace you through this time.
Thank you, Isabel. And for those who don't know, Isabel is a poet, and she has lovely poems. And I'm hoping that I can kind of like wink to her to try to share one with us before the end of this evening. If we have the time, I'm sure Isabel will grace us with her beautiful poetic voice. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Miss Anna. Just to jump right into it, I just want to ask you, can you tell us a little bit about your campaign? How has it been through this past week? Do you still see yourself as a viable candidate after, doing the grand campaign and the colors?
Isabel, you asked about the past week, and it's a fitting question because the past week have, apart from my personal experience, the past week have been a tough one. I mean, we had the threat of a hurricane in the mix where we had a lot of the work that we do in campaigning is through the election and boundaries, and that office has been closed for the past 2 days, really. And so But as far as the campaign is going, we are doing this. We are reaching out to our voters and potential voters and Belmopan citizens on a whole, because our team is not here just to serve the ones who vote, but we're here to serve all of Belmopan. And we're here to send a message to all of Belmopan. And in so doing, the voters will hear and the voters will connect. But to answer your question more directly, we have been connecting to voters and to Belmopan, and it has been an absolutely amazing experience for our team. This week we have been in Las Flores. This week we're working in Las Flores as well as San Martin and Belmopan North and Central Belmopan. So we have campaigners, and because it's COVID-19, I would like to stress that we are being extremely responsible in terms of how we approach voters, how we approach residents as we go around. We wear our mask and our face shield. We don't campaign in groups. We just send one individual with the documentation that we believe is necessary, equipped with information that the voters need to see and need to learn the candidate and my candidacy and what I have to offer. Now, the reception has been really overwhelming. It's something that, even this evening I thought, should we have a show? We had a lockdown, so to speak, yesterday because of the threat of the hurricane. Thank God that we are safe and Belize is spared, and for that we're eternally grateful, because God knows that how much we can take as a country. And Belmopan, we are happy that we were able to be out again today and to meet with voters and connect with them. And I was saying that the response is really, it's something that it's a hopeful response. People are saying, thank God for this opportunity, that we have been voting red and we have been voting blue for all our lives. And this is an opportunity where we see not just an independent candidate, but an independent candidate who has already demonstrated leadership in the community. And so that is what our team brings to the table, to show how it has worked and how it can work, because many of the work that I have done in the past, I have done independently outside of an elected seat. And if I get the opportunity, which I believe Belmopan has promised that they will give the opportunity to bring an independent candidate into parliament. And with that opportunity, I know that the work can go, the scope of the work can increase significantly.
I know that's one of the questions that a lot of people have. What changes can an independent candidate bring? Are they as impactful and, can demonstrate that she will or you will indeed fulfill all those promises, the promises of change to Belmopan?
Well, Isabel, the campaign is a new campaign because it is really, it's lobbying at its initial stage and really trying to convince people of how this would work. And one of the things that the conversations that our team have been sharing as we chit chat and as we talk in one-on-one conversations with our voters, and even through different platforms such as this, it's important for us to convince voters that even myself as a candidate have been before in a position where I really believe that the only way to get to parliament, or the only way to get to serve as an elected official, is through one of the mass political parties. That is not democracy. That is how we are. That is where we are in Belize, which is significantly behind many other nations right around us, really. And so this is an opportunity for Belmopan to show its independent mindset. It's time for Belmopan to educate the next generation. It's time for Belmopan to send a message to the political parties. And more importantly, it's time for Belmopan to know that we as a community, we don't have to depend on a political party to push us forward in terms of achieving the goals that we as a community want to receive. Actually, Just the opposite is happening, because we as a people are depending on leaders coming from political parties, and we are seeing our city that had such great potential rapidly deteriorating. Even our name that we have been known to be the garden city, even that, our green spaces, we have our buffers under current leadership, our buffers are being, and even previously, I mean, both political parties leadership have done this, have been really just recklessly, um I would say, almost giving away and selling, and really just getting rid of some of our most important, valuable resource that allows Belmopan to be what it is. We are not, and was never intended to be, a concrete jungle where houses are clustered up and there are no spaces for us to breathe, so to speak. And we see where we have these green areas rapidly just going, being sold, and we need leadership that is going to look at our heritage and what Belmopan was intended to be, and preservation and looking outside the norm. I mean, running a community and a city, it really goes beyond, and an a representative duty should definitely goes beyond infrastructure, and we need to prioritize. Although infrastructure is important, we need to see more people centered and people focused leadership in our community. I think we are starving for that really, and the people have been saying this as we go door to door, and as we are meeting and making telephone calls and reaching out how we can in the most responsible fashion that we can.
So apart from the infrastructure, you're talking about bringing the people together. Uh, what is your plan to bring the people together?
Well, Isabel, we haven't seen leadership that really have been exercising inclusion. I've been talking to Belmopan residents, not just now. I'm not just connecting to the community now that I'm running for office or for a representative. I have been in communication and I have been on the ground and I have always been talking to Belmopan. And so one of the things is that we don't know what's happening. We don't know. We see things happen and we don't know what's happening. And we see um, lands being sold. We see on the news that sites that can be called heritage site, or something that should be kept as sacred to Belmopan, such as the hilltop, just being vanished. And that's like the heart of Belmopan. And so this is something that we need to look at how we can include our citizen. One of my plan is to form local planning work group, and these work groups will be very instrumental as it relates to decision making for the different groups, depending on what the groups are. I don't feel no one individual has the right, because of the power invested in them, to just decide we are going to sell the heart of the city, or we are going to sell the most valuable resources, or we are going to disregard or just get rid of things the way, I mean, the way that is reckless. That is reckless leadership. And that is a leadership that Domopan is rejecting and will reject on uh, at the poll during the next general elections.
Hmm, right. I can certainly hope that we can see, a different future for Bongapan. I know in your vision it stated making Bongapan the national model. I know that's a very big statement, and it's the community, like you mentioned, and it's working towards development. What else would you bring to Bongapan?
Isabel, again, David, I'm not hearing Isabel clearly, but I did hear the last statement about what else I intend to bring to Belmopan. So Belmopan has a population that we are lacking. We're lacking basic things that really mobilize and drive a community, and drive community development. We're talking about employment, education, skills training, job opportunities, health. Those are things that are dear to my heart, but not just to my heart. Those are things that any residents who needs these services, which is everyone, can see the obvious lack. Just this week, I had to be at the Western Regional Hospital. Now imagine, we had leaders under both political party. We have turned our Belmopan Hospital to a regional hospital by name. So this is implying that this hospital is supposed to serve the region and be a referral hospital, in fact. But instead, we need to refer our patients to other facilities, such as private, small facilities, 5 minutes away from the hospital. I was saying that I was at the hospital this week and actually took a video of it, but I didn't intend to talk about it today. And so I didn't give David the video. But what it is, it's just showing that there is such poor leadership, not just at the hospital, but in Belmopan as a whole. And it's not just poor leadership, it's leadership that really doesn't care. There is no care. These are things that some of them can be fixed within a day. I'm talking about basic drainage. We have dengue. My son got infected with dengue over a year and ago, and we have water lodged at the hospital. There is no drainage system there that takes the water from out the hospital compound where patients are in bed next to this. Garbage. We have wild raccoons, cats, everything eating out of the garbage at the hospital. Who's telling me this? Nobody. I saw this with my eyes. I have videos of this. It's unfortunate that I have to talk about these things, or that these, honestly, it's embarrassing to me because being from Belmopan, I too want to live in a city that I'm very prideful of, that I can speak highly of. But I also have to be realistic with what we are faced with and what we don't have. And so we have basic things like the sun and scorching sun and rain now that a patient has to wait in while the doctor comes out an hour and a half later to say, I'm sorry, your loved one passed. And the facility, it's just really not there. With no exaggeration, I experienced that this week, and I felt sorry about the whole situation. It's actually something that no human being should have to experience. And I went through that with my niece this week, that I'm thanking God for the sun, because it could have been the rain while we waited outside. So it's just really dilapidating more and more, and there's nothing that any one leader is doing to take the healthcare system serious. But that's just one of the things that I know, because that is very important to us, because if we don't have healthy people, we cannot really progress in any other areas. We cannot even send the children to school to learn if they're not sound, if they're not of sound health. And so that's just one of the areas, Isabel, but there are so many different things that is needed, really. And like I said, my leadership, I plan to continue to be a transformational leader for Belmopan, but I also lead by looking toward the need. And as far as support is to come, there are many questions out there as we go campaigning, and as you alluded to earlier, what about the support from central government if you're an independent candidate? Well, the reality is that we're in trouble in Belize, really. We are financially. So it is a difficult time for any person who puts their name on the ballot. But it's even a worse and more sickening time if we go back and elect the same leaders that we have had before. And unfortunately, that will happen in many instances, because we don't have a full slate of independent candidates. So we will have back some UDPs, and we have back some PUPs. But for those of you voters who live in communities and cities where you have an opportunity to elect an independent candidate, that I think this is the time is very crucial. It's very right. It's essential that you give that candidate an opportunity. It could really be a power breaker in the House. I mean, imagine if we have at least 3 or 4 independent candidates elected. I mean, I would like for this to be an independent movement. That is why I came forward, because I'm hoping by coming forward that other independent candidates or potential independent candidates can move forward in faith and just hoping that the people are going to catch on to this movement. And by that, the more of us that put ourselves forward, the more possibilities lie for us being elected. So I'm very optimistic. I am feeling very hopeful. I'm getting excellent response. Our team is getting excellent responses out there from Belmopan. And so, yeah, we are going to push forward. And I'm very excited. I take everything I do very seriously, Isabel, and I give my 100%, and I'm extremely committed to what I do. But in the midst of that, I ensure that every day I have fun, that I participate and enjoy every minute of my campaign, every minute of my journey until election day. And I transfer that energy to my team, because I have a very dynamic team, very diverse, coming from all over Belmopan. And we want our people to know that, you have a leader that wants to fight for you to create opportunity, and just give her a chance. But in the midst of it, let's have fun while we work towards it.
Right, and I'm glad you mentioned that. We can still have fun, and we can still make a change while doing that. All right, we have a lot of questions for you, but first we will take a commercial break.
All right.
Belmopan deserves a leader his people can trust, a leader who cares for all.
A leader with a plan.
A leader who loves God, family, and country.
Belmopan needs a leader that will engage our entire community in the most positive way, in particular our youthful population.
I am the leader that Belmopan deserves. Through my efforts over the years, hundreds of individuals, primarily youth, have transformed their lives through job training, education, sports, and mentorship that support families. I know firsthand the struggles our people go through and the choices they're faced with. When I'm elected, I will create a youth and child-friendly city. In essence, a family-friendly city. Lead with total transparency. Demonstrate the important value of building and supporting strong families, which produce strong communities. I will create a team of young, working, and retired professionals and others from within our community to form a local planning group that will advise on most needed projects for our entire city. I will, along with a group of experts, revise the existing Shelf Municipal Development Plan. I will create a land and housing committee that will focus on equitable land distribution and housing. I will increase the level of partnership with local organizations, NGOs, and the business community. Most of all, as an independent candidate, I plan to work closely with our city and central government to ensure improved policies and services for our people. I humbly ask for your vote as Belmopan's next era representative in the upcoming general elections. Change that brings hope and opportunities.
Yes, welcome back. So now we have some questions from the public. All right. The first question we have here is, how do you plan to enhance the education system here in Belmopan?
Hey, Isabel, and I want to say thanks to all our viewers and those who took the time out to tune in, to listen, obviously to comment, and more importantly, to question. That's important because I believe that if I plan to represent you and I'm asking for your vote, then I should be worthy enough to answer your questions the best way I can. My manifesto comes out next week, right, David? Right, Isabel? So
Yes,
we will be
is right.
discussing we will be discussing in details some of the plans, and we don't want to jump the gun and discuss that in detail now, but I will respond to the question. Education in Belmopan and on a whole nationally, I think we need to partnership is one of the key answers that I have for that, because one of the things that we have known to do in our country is just basically stick to traditional education. All of us want our children to be lawyers and doctors, and we are very focused on academics, very, very focused on academics, and that is played out in everyday life, how we even as parents, the children that are more academically inclined and advanced academically are the children that parents in Belize, and it's probably regional, see, and maybe even beyond, seem to be more proud of and boast their achievements. That is one of the things that I want to address in terms of education. It's very important for our children to know that they're equally important and they can be equally successful in life. So a shift from focusing on academic, and I definitely want to focus on skills training and vocational skills training for sure. We have many young people in Belmopan that are unemployed and unemployable, really, because they are not academically inclined, or they have not reached to the academic standards where they're competitive in terms of employability. And I believe that many of these young people would prefer and would do very well if they would get the opportunity to focus more toward vocational training and become certified, and then become empowered and feel that they are more contributing, and not just for their own self gratification and production, but for society as a whole. I think that's very important. So in terms of education, non-traditional education is something that I definitely have been focusing on really over the years, because through Development Active Youth, we have trained dozens of young people in terms of vocational and job skills training that are non-traditional.
Right. Right. Thank you so much. And the second question we have is, what is your health and wellness plan for Belmopan?
Oh, hi. And I notice on the screen that's coming from Miss Aniji Ramirez. All right. So thank you, Miss Ramirez, for that question. I firmly believe that a healthy body, it brings a healthy mind. And it goes together really. I think health is more holistic than we think. And it's something that I have already embarked on before, and see how important it is for the community to really not just focus on physical health in isolation, but also focus on mental health. And so that is something that I think is very, very important to look into, how we can connect mental health awareness with physical fitness, because mental health has there's a stigma to mental health. Like, for example, if I would announce that I have had some mental health issues in the past, or any candidate running for elections, that would be a serious stereotype and stigmatization would go towards that. So definitely mental health awareness, and also looking at a more holistic approach towards health as a whole.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much for answering, Miss Anna. We really appreciate it. And I'd just like to say thank you to all our viewers who have been watching tonight. We really appreciate it for joining us. I just want to say something really quick. Miss Anna mentioned her manifesto, and it will be launched next week. And you can also find it online. So when we have her URL, we'll be posting it live for you. It probably not be tonight, but we will have it for you so that everyone can have a look at her manifesto. Thank you once again, and thank you, Miss Anna, for coming and joining tonight.
Thank you, Isabel. We really appreciate having you, and we look forward to do more dynamic things with you. And thanks to all our viewers, of course, and especially to our Belmopan viewers.